Here's my suggested budget calendar. And again, these are deadlines before what's required in state law, just because I'd like to be a little bit early. But I think typically you can probably start budget preparation about 4 months prior to the start of the fiscal year. Why 4 months? Well, usually after about 8 months of activity, I can pretty much get a feel for how the rest of the year is going to go. I've got 8 months of data, 8 months of revenue projections, 8 months of expenditure projections, and I can at least start thinking, okay, what is this year going to project out to be, and then how does that impact what I'm going to do next year? The submission to the governing body probably ought to have something to them right around the 1st of May. That's when 2 months prior to the start of a June 30 or a July 1 fiscal year, right around May 1st or right around November 1st if you're at 12/31. And then governing body and public consideration, usually sometime between 30 to 60 days prior to the start of the fiscal year. So that's why usually if we're a June 30 municipality, we're heavy into the budget starting March, April, well into it in May, and then by mid-June we're probably already ready to adopt it. And that's what I'm suggesting, even though I know that the legal requirement is 7 days before the beginning of the fiscal year. I usually don't like to wait until the 23rd. I usually like to have it in place about 2 weeks prior to the start of the fiscal year. So June 15th or December 15th if you're at 12/31. And then, of course, the filing budget deadline is only 30 days after the start of the fiscal year. So sometime within the month of July or the month of January, depending on when your fiscal year is, you need to file that budget document with the state auditor. And of course, if you did an estimate of needs, you would probably had to have filed that earlier with the county also, as they use that number to start how they are going to consider their property tax levy.